So Mayor Johnstone, in a sentence, what are you trying to do here?
Provide housing for the thousands of people who are moving to New Westminster and doing our part in the regional role of finding housing for the millions of people who are moving to this region. Our goal is to get housing built as close to transit and accessible to transit as possible.
So here we are in New Westminster. We've got Mayor Patrick Johnstone with us. Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Living the dream.
And you are?
I'm Damien Ritter.
And why are you here?
I'm the manager of development planning here in New Westminster.
So here we've got a building, you're talking about transit-oriented development. This is an early example, about a 2-decade-old example here.
Yeah, around 2000. This is called Plaza 88. And the idea at the time was to build 3 big residential towers and a bunch of retail right on top of a SkyTrain station. It's getting pretty common now. You see it in other areas along the SkyTrain line, but it wasn't being done that much then. And it became a real catalyst for downtown New Westminster and sort of turned New Westminster around into a new city with new development growth. We're a dense city, New Westminster. We're 15 square kilometers. We've got 5 SkyTrain stations.
Every city is facing a lack of affordable rental housing. How are you fixing the problem here?
Just adding to the rental supply has been a really been a success story for us. We're still challenged with the affordability side, and it's still really difficult to get affordable rental built, and the kind of rental that needs government subsidy effectively in order to get it built at an affordable rate. We've also been successful at New Westminster is not tearing down the older and affordable rental that exists. So even though the new rental is not the most affordable rental, adding the supply does make sure that that older rental does stay more affordable. But I think as population grows, you need to build park space, you need green space, you need recreation centers, you need those kinds of things that make cities livable. And again, it's not the city's responsibility to build these, but I hear from my community all the time, schools. Our schools are crowded, the school playgrounds are crowded, the school parking lots are crowded with portables. We need to build schools. New Westminster has actually been one of the most attractive cities for young families. The demographic that's growing fastest in our city is young families, and that is putting a lot of pressure on our schools.
So who's funding all of those public assets?
The local government is, through property taxes.
And what does that do to property taxes?
It causes property taxes to go up unless we can find more support from the provincial and senior governments to fund infrastructure. I was going to wear my New Westminster polo, but I thought our staff will probably have the New Westminster shirt on.
Did you send me a salmon belly shirt?
I think I did at some point. Yeah. I want to talk about that building. Yeah. Talk about that hole in the ground. You can talk about this hole in the ground.
So here's what happens when you ask the New Westminster to take you to show you something exciting happening in his city. He takes you to 2 big holes. You did that.
I did that.
Why?
Because this is an exciting project. 350 units of student housing being built at Douglas College. Student housing for the first time at Douglas College. Wow. And the student housing is a piece of the housing matrix that just hasn't been being built in a long time. So it's really exciting that New Westminster for the first time is going to have that housing. Not only is it affordable for students, it also takes 350 students out of the affordable housing stock in the market. Right. That opens up more spaces for affordable housing. Okay. And then right across the street, we've got
behind us?
Yeah, we've got a hole in the ground. It's going to be 300 units of purpose-built rental built right across the street from a SkyTrain station. There's a great little community park that's going to be built right next to it to bring some green space into this dense downtown, and a little community amenity center that's right attached to it. So it's a good model of how purpose-built rental can fit into transit-oriented development.
And there's the older building that we were just looking at a moment ago, and this is a newer one beside it. What's the story with that one?
So this new building is a condo building. It's got about 250 units in it. So they built an affordable housing project out of that. It's run by a performing arts lodge. Oh. So it's affordable rental targeted for people who worked in the arts. Right. And a lot of people who worked in the arts for a long time, they don't have pensions. They haven't managed to build up pensions. So it's a lot of seniors who are retiring out of that kind of work, and they can live there in truly affordable, subsidized housing.
Okay, so that's the 2 big holes. Where are we going now?
Next, we're just going to go down to the Waterfront and see some of the bigger developments that have happened recently in the Waterfront in the West.
I love some of these older buildings, though. They're kind of awesome. Oh. It's the mayor. It's the mayor.
CBC radio personality,
Hi.
Stephen Quinn.
Hi.
Hi.
It's the mayor. All right, so this is the 4th and final place you brought us, or this is the 3rd and final place you brought us. Why are we here?
I think there's 2 things you can see. You can see the SkyTrain line and how these new buildings are integrated into transit right downtown. This is transit-oriented development. And if you look the other way, you look towards the Waterfront, and there's new development, new growth right along the water. Again, very transit-oriented, right across the street from transit. The big building down there, it's the biggest building built in New Westminster. It's just about topped out right now, but we were able to leverage 2 acres of public park space out of that property. We were able to build the third building there, which is going to have a child care and some commercial spaces. So, but it was a very innovative piece of building on top of a parking lot next to the river that was a parking lot for 30 years.
Riverfront condos.
Riverfront condos, they are not going to be the most affordable housing in the city, but they're part of the housing matrix.
If you had a magic wand, if you could do something to this place, to this city right now, what would you do?
If I had a magic wand, I'd ask, I'd get the provincial government to fund affordable housing at the rate that it needs to be built so that we can actually get affordable housing in the city. That's our one need right now. Our one need, we're having no problem meeting market need for housing. We just simply can't get enough affordable housing built. We are approving every piece that comes to us, but there just isn't enough money right now to get it built.
Is it not just a question, though, of, priorities and what you decide is important over what isn't important?
We prioritize it. We fast track every piece of affordable housing. We do that work. It just costs money, and the way the market has shifted in the last few years, land values are up, construction costs are way up, interest rates are up, and none of these things leave a lot of room to leverage affordable housing on a new development. Even building schools in a place like New Westminster, where every piece of land is already developed, there are no 4 or 5 acre sites to build a new school on, with big fields anymore. We have to think of a different way of building schools, and we have to think about a different way of building everything, be it parks, be it recreation centers, or anything we need to build, because it's just no space left.
So you could, for instance, see a school being the first 4 floors of a taller building?
I think that schools being multi-story, I think is the future. I think we're going to have to do that if we're going to get schools built in New Westminster. What's the city's role in that? The provincial government builds schools. They can buy land and build schools. Should local government taxpayers have to pay for those schools, or should those come from the provincial coffers? That's a big question.
You happy with where you live?
I love New Westminster. I wouldn't live anywhere else. I've been lucky enough to be here for 20 years this time. We lived here when I was younger, when I was going to school, but the people are great. It's a dense city. I'm a city guy. I like being in a city where I can get on a SkyTrain and get to places where I can get the services, 15-minute walk. I walked down here to talk to you from my work today and walk to work every day. It's a beautiful city that way.
What are you most proud of in this city?
I'm proud that the city has compassion, actually, and we haven't talked about that yet, but we have challenges in the city, like every urban city, and I'm really proud that when we talk about addressing mental health crises, we talk about addictions crises, we talk about homelessness, that our community wants us to take compassionate and thoughtful approaches to those. Proud when we have a public hearing for affordable housing and people come and talk in favor of it and say that we need affordable housing in our city. I think it's a beautiful part of the city.
What does this place look like a few years from now?
It doesn't look that different than it is now. I mean, there'll be a few more buildings. I think that we'll have more people on the street. Businesses will be more prosperous because there'll be more customers around. What I really hope that we can manage is the infrastructure challenges that come with it.